closing of stomata. For example, now we know that stomata is nothing but a pore or a hole, isn't it? So if this is the stomata, okay, also everyone switch on your videos quickly. This is the stomata, okay, and each of the, like every stomata in the plant, it is surrounded by specialized cells that are known as guard cells, okay. So these two are the guard cells. Now what happens is that these guard cells, they regulate the opening and closing of stomata. And how do they do so? For example, the guard cells have the ability to absorb water and to release water. Okay, so when the guard cells absorb water, they become swollen, they become thick, because of which they, you can say, after getting swollen up, they open up the stomatal pore. And as soon as they lose the water, they close up the stomatal pore. For example, if my two hands are the guard cells, so when they absorb water from the surroundings, so they become swollen, because of which stomatal pore opens like this. And when they lose water, then the stomatal pore closes like this. So the opening and closing of stomata or stomatal pore is regulated by the guard cell. I think this was there in the MCQ, isn't it?
No, ma'am, it was in the subjective part.
Oh, subjective part. Okay, I was checking the homework. Okay, so like how did your test go, students? Hmm?
Good it was.
It was good for everyone?
Yes.
Who
Yes.
did not attempt the test? Is there anyone here who did not give the test? Everyone gave. All right, also, okay, switch on your videos, students. Switch on your videos. Who have not switched on your video? Also, yes. So, see, as far as the question paper goes, there are few things that I would like to discuss with you people. Now, for those students that have already done classes with me, you know how to write the answers to questions, isn't it? I've explained that. But for everyone that is new, see, for example, if we are talking about the MCQs, okay. Now, in the MCQs, we know that out of the 4 options, only one is right. Now, for example, there is question number 1, blah, 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 and your answer is option A. So when you're writing the answer, you don't just write A, you write whatever option is given at A. Okay, this is the first thing. Because many a times, teacher don't look this. They see that, like sometimes they need the answer to be written here. Okay. Apart from this, if we are talking about the short answer question, okay. For example, what is photosynthesis? Okay, if there is a question that says what is photosynthesis, now how are you supposed to answer it? You do not start the answer by writing that it is the process by which green plants. No, you can mention it like photosynthesis is the process, because the teacher, when he or she is reading your answer sheet, they are going to look at how you have formulated the question. It's not just that you'll write the answer any way that's possible and you'll get the marks. No, your answer has to be perfectly written. And why am I stressing on this so much is because when you write your answers perfectly over here in your coaching classes, and then so when you do it in your exams or in your school, you'll get proper marks. You're getting what I'm saying? So never answer the question as if, for example, I am asking you the question like what is photosynthesis? So then to answer me, you will say that it is the process, blah, blah, blah. But when you're writing it in the answer form, proper, when you're writing it in your test, you are supposed to write the full example. For example, the process by which green plants make their food using CO2, sunlight, chlorophyll is known as photosynthesis, full stop. This is the whole formulated sentence. Okay, you just can't write it is the process by which green plants make their own food. No. Also, for all the 2 marks questions, you don't have to write really long paragraphs. Not enough. Like it's not, you can say, it's like more than enough, in fact. 2 marks questions should, like you should write the answer according to the marks. But if it is a 5 marks question, then you need to write a proper descriptive answer. And as far as the test that, you people are going to give here, don't worry that, many a times what happens is that, for example, what is photosynthesis? Someone can give this question as a 5 marks also. Now, if someone gives this question as a 5 marks question, so you won't have much to write in it, isn't it? Apart from the definition, you can't write anything. But there is another thing, is that, for example, if you did get any kind of question like this that requires a lengthier answer, so apart from defining photosynthesis, you can also give the processes of photosynthesis. Remember this one thing, when the marks is more for any answer, you need to make some length in that answer. Okay, if you write just one line, that is not at all sufficient, and you won't get the full marks. Everyone's getting what I'm trying to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, Harshit, is opening and closing of stomatal pore clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else anyone wants to ask me? Anything related to the test? No? Okay, just 1 second. Let me see what all questions were there. Okay. So you people had like these questions only, right? What are life processes? Why do we need nutrition? Right? These were there. Then what is the mechanism used for nutrition in single cell organism? These were the questions, right? Okay. Anyway, now see, like even if you do have any problem, you can ask me. Now everyone knows how to write the questions and like answers and everything. You know how to answer a 2 marks question and a 5 marks question. And when it is a 10 marks question, which you will not get so soon, but whenever it is a 10 marks question, then 10 marks question, so you start from the starting. Okay, like for example, I'm taking the example of photosynthesis only because photosynthesis is not that lengthy of a topic. But if a 10 marks question comes on that, so how will you start? Any ideas? How will you start a 10 marks question on photosynthesis? First, what we will do?
Ma'am, we could write the definitions, then examples, then we could do a diagram from for that.
What diagram will you draw for photosynthesis? You
Ma'am,
will
like
be
a
a plant taking sunlight.
yes, ma'am. I'm just saying that.
No, no, no. Listen, whatever you said was right, absolutely right. Now, see, as far as photosynthesis goes, first you can say that it is a mechanism of like autotrophic mode of nutrition. You can define autotrophic mode of nutrition. Then you can define photosynthesis, give the processes, and then say that which organisms can do photosynthesis. You're getting what I'm trying to say? Now, if a question is there that you can put diagrams in it. Like for photosynthesis, you can put the reaction of photosynthesis as well. The reaction is given, isn't it? The chemical reaction, you can put that as well. Then you can also say what is the end product of photosynthesis, what is the storage of plants and everything. These are things you can mention in your answer. Is it clear? Hmm? All right. Okay. Now moving forward. So we had discussed up till here, right? Xylem and phloem. Did you people have any difficulties in this thing up until now? Sure? No one does? Okay. All right. So now let us talk about the transportation of water. Not just water, but along with water, there are minerals also that are absorbed with the help of xylem. And xylem and phloem collectively are known as what kind of tissue, students?
Vascular.
Vascular tissues. And another name for vascular tissues is?
Conductive tissue.
Conductive tissue. Very good. Now, see, one xylem that we are seeing, it is a very complex tissue. Okay, and since it is a complex tissue, it is made up of multiple, you can say parts, or there are multiple components of the xylem. So what are those components? We have tracheates, vessels, xylem fiber, and xylem parenchyma. These are the 4 components of the xylem, meaning them together make a xylem. Now, talking about the trachees and the vessels, now they are column-like structures that are present in the plant's body. Column-like means they are vessel-like. Okay. And since they are for conduction of water, so they are like pipes. Then there is xylem fiber. Now see, xylem fiber is morely, like you can say, fibers wherever they are present, they are dead tissue. Okay, they do not have a protoplasm present in them, and since they are dead, it means that they are modified to perform some support or some structural support actually. So that is xylem fiber. And then there is xylem parenchyma. It provides the storage of food material. Now for transportation of water, the xylem tissues, vessels, and tracheae of the roots, stems, and leaves are interconnected. Obviously, because from one point, meaning from the soil, the water has to be transported to all the different parts of the plant so that photosynthesis can be done. So this is the reason why the stem, root, and the leaves, xylem, all of the components of the xylem are interconnected, sort of like a pipeline system is there. Now, this connection forms the water conducting channels which reaches all parts of the plant. Now, here the most important thing is that water should reach the part that has chlorophyll present in it so that this water can be utilized for photosynthesis process. Now, the roots take up the ions. Everyone knows what ions are? What are ions, students?
Positively charged.
Positively and negatively also, isn't it?
Negative.
Cation, anion, both of them are there. Very good. So these ions, they like, for example, we are talking about all the elements. Like for, let's just say calcium. Now calcium exists as dipositive ion, Ca2 plus, isn't it? Now this calcium that we are saying, it exists as dipositive ion. Then there is sodium, and then there is potassium also. So these elements, they are present in the soil. So the uptake of these elements or these ions, because they are in their ionic form, so these ions are taken from the soil by active mechanism. Okay, they are taken by active absorption, let's just say. Okay. Now, how many of you know the difference between active, passive absorption? Anyone? Okay,
Continuously when necessary.
can you please speak clearly? I can't hear you.
Maybe active is continuous process and passive is the, like, when it is necessary it takes
Sort of,
place.
yes. Sort of, yes. See, active is the kind of transport, active transport is the transport that is against the concentration gradient. Normally, diffusion happens from which to which gradient?
Higher to
To higher to lower, right? From high concentration gradient to low concentration gradient. Now, when anything has to be transported from low concentration to high concentration, then that requires energy. Okay, for example, I'm giving you now, when everyone has been to mountains, have you climbed a mountain before? Or have you ever been to a mountain place? No.
Yes.
Yes. See, for example, if we're talking about a mountain, now when you are here and when you want to come down, and when you are here and you want to go up, which one will be easier? This one or this one? Like one or two?
one.
One will be easier, isn't it? Because here, let's just count it as the concentration or the gradient. You are already at a higher position and you have to come to a lower position. So you'll run, and you, like, without running also, your body will be fast accelerated, isn't it? And you'll reach the bottom very easily. But when you want to climb a mountain, meaning go from a lower place to a higher one, you would require a lot of push and a lot of energy to reach there, isn't it? Same goes for the ions as well. Now the ions, when they move from the lower concentration gradient to the higher concentration gradient, they require energy in the form of ATP. Okay, they need energy to get absorbed. Clear? Now, this uptake of iron causes a concentration gradient between the root and the soil. Now, this causes the movement of water from the soil to the root. Now, see, when the ions are absorbed into the root, then the amount of ions in the root increases, but the amount of water in the root decreases. Everyone remembers hypotonic, hypertonic solution? You remember when the solute concentration increased inside the cell or outside surrounding, then what happened? Water from the cell moved outside. That was hypertonic. Now, when the solute concentration will increase inside the cell, for example, if the solute concentration is increasing inside the root, then what is happening? Now it needs water because water concentration is less, solvent concentration is less. So the water will move into the root and passively, meaning it will require no energy. Okay. So this process or the movement of water is osmosis. We know that. Any doubts up until now, students? Sure. If you have doubts, you can say. I'll explain it again if you're getting confused. Hmm? Tell me, is it clear up till now? Like how the water goes into the roots, how the ions are absorbed into the roots. These things are clear?
Yes.
All right. See this thing also. The passive transport or the passive absorption. The absorption can be of two types. One is the active absorption and the other is the passive absorption. Now, the passive absorption requires no energy and it happens against the concentration gradient. For example, from high to low, normal. But when from low to high something has to be transferred, it requires energy. And that energy comes from ATP. By the breakdown of ATP releases a lot of energy. Now what happens? Apart from this, the evaporatory loss of water from the surface of the green leaf creates a pull for absorption of water from the soil. Now see, the surface of the leaves have stomata, isn't it? Yes or no? Okay. Now when the stomata is open during the daytime. Now during the daytime, what happens? For example, if this is the plant and this is the leaf and it is the daytime. Okay. Now during the daytime, when the sun is out, during that period of time, what happens? Normally, if you put water or if you throw water on this like road and stuff, you will find that this water gets evaporated. Evaporated means water from the liquid form changes into the vapor form, isn't it? So same thing happens when there are like the stomata are present in the leaf. So because of this sunlight, the water loss or evaporation takes place from here also. Okay, this is evaporatory loss of water. Okay, this is the evaporatory loss of water, which is also known as transpiration. Up till now, is everything clear, students? Transpiration is clear to everyone? So when this transpiration happens, meaning water loss is taking place from the plant's body and it is going into the atmosphere. So the amount of water in the plant's body will be more or less now?
Yes.
Less.
Yes.
Yes. So if the plant's water is less, now it would require to absorb more water so that the water will, because if water loss is there, the plants start becoming yellow. If you have plants at home, you might have noticed it also. The plants, they become yellow and they start drooping, right? So plants can't afford living without water. So then what they do is that they start absorbing water from the soil with the help of the roots. So this evaporatory loss of water, it makes the plant absorb more and more water from the soil. Is it clear?
This one.
This also moves the water upwards from the roots to the leaves. So apart from creating a pull for water to be absorbed, the transpiration also serves the process or the purpose of temperature regulation. For example, in our body, when we sweat, sweating is a mechanism which is there in our body so that we can feel cool. It is our body's way to regulate temperature. So same thing happens in the plant's body also, but their temperature regulation happens with the help of the transpirational pull. Okay, meaning the transpiration is happening, water is being evaporated, but at the same time it is being pulled also. And the evaporation of water like makes the plant have a cooling sensation as well. Now, during the day, when stomata are open, the transpirational pull becomes the major driving force in the movement of water in the xylem. Because why? Because during the daytime, when the sun is there, 100% the water will change into the water vapor. And when that will happen, more and more water will be absorbed. So this phenomena, wherein because of transpiration, water is being pulled from the soil or absorbed, more and more water is being absorbed from the soil, that is known as transpirational pull. Is it clear to everyone here? Did you get what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, what about Gianna? Gianna, what about you? Are you there in the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Did you understand what I'm like what I have taught up till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this was how the you can say transportation takes place with respect to the xylem, because xylem is responsible for the transportation of not just water but also minerals along with it. Is it clear, students, up till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Now let me write a little bit about xylem, tracheids, and vessels. So first you do one thing, you have noted up till here, right? Xylem and phloem is done, isn't it? Okay, now you can note down from here. First you note down, you can switch off your video, note down, and then I'll give you a little write up.
What is NPSK?
Yes, what?
NPSK.
Oh, NPSK, this is N is nitrogen, P is phosphorus, S is sulfur, K is potassium. These are the elements that are absorbed along with the water by the xylem.
Okay.
Done, ma.
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see, you have written till here, no? Now you write about each of the components. First, you give the heading as tracheids. Now, under the tracheids, you write down these are long tube-like cells then write about vessels. It is a long cylindrical tube it is a long cylindrical tube with a big central cavity. Then write about xylem fibers. You write these are thick walled fiber-like tissues or fiber-like structures that provide support to the plant, or that just provides support, right? That provides support. Then xylem parenchyma. And these are also about xylem fibers. You can write down they are dead tissues. They are dead tissues. Dead means they have lost their protoplasm. Now talking about xylem parenchyma, you can write down these are living tissues or living thin wall cells, living thin walled cells that serve the purpose of storage in plants. So xylem parenchyma, they are responsible for the storage. Parenchyma in general, they are responsible for the storage purpose. So xylem parenchyma is there, xylem fiber, xylem tracheid, and xylem vessel. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
No, ma.
Everyone's done?
Yes.
You can note this part also about the absorption and its type.
Okay, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Uh, when transpirational pull takes place from the soil,
No, not from the soil. It takes place in, because transpiration is happening through the stomata. So in the plant's body, the transpirational pull causes the water to be absorbed or causes the water to move in the xylem. Okay.
okay.
Done, students?
So,
Any doubts up until now?
Yes.
Yes, doubts are there? Tell me. So today we have discussed about the transportation of water and minerals that helps us, like that takes place with the help of xylem, and xylem has these many components. Now, is this a concept about transpiration, transpirational pull, how it causes the water absorption and everything is clear to everyone?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now let us discuss about the transport of food and other substances. Now, the process of transport of the soluble food formed by the photosynthesis is known as translocation. So the transportation of the food in the plant's body it has a term, and that term is translocation. And this process of translocation, it is done through the phloem. Now, apart from food, the phloem also transports the amino acids. It is delivered to the storage organs of the root, seeds, and the growing organs of the plant. So these areas wherein the food requirement is there. Okay, so this food transporting tissue, that is the phloem, it transports the food to all those areas. And these areas are of the prime importance, such as the growing organs of the plant, the growing root areas, the growing shoot areas, wherever the food is required. Also, to all those places where storage organs are there, such as the roots, fruits, seeds, these structures or these organs, they also require the food delivery. So, this phloem transports the food. Now, where do you think will it transport from? Like where will the phloem take the food from to get transported?
From the soil to the parts of the plant.
From the soil. Food is prepared where in the plant?
Leaves.
In the leaves. Wherever photosynthesis has been done, mostly it is done in the leaves only. So now the phloem will transport the food from the leaf to the different parts of the plant. The xylem takes the water and it transports from the roots to the different parts of the plant. So you must remember from where it is transporting. Now, the translocation of food and other substances takes place in the seed tubes and companion cells. It happens in both upward and downward direction. Now, always remember, now after you've written this thing, you can also mention another point that xylem transport is unidirectional. Unidirectional, meaning from roots
Root to the leaves.
to leaves. Yes, it will always be unidirectional, meaning from the roots, it will be transported to leaves and also to the other parts. But talking about the phloem transportation, like the food transfer, that is not unidirectional, it is bidirectional. Why? Because the root also requires food. So the phloem also transfers the food from the leaf to the roots also. So that is why the phloem transportation is upward and downward both directions. Now, the process of transportation of food requires a lot of energy from ATP. And ATP, we know that it is the currency of the cell or cellular currency. Now, this process may not require any gradient setup, meaning from high to low is no sense over here. Why? Because it is using energy anyway. So, it does not require gradient at all. Okay. So, this much is clear, students?
Yes.
So this is all about the transportation of food and other substances. Now see, the phloem also has these components such as the sieve tube, the companion cells, the phloem fibers. The phloem fibers. And then there is also the phloem parenchyma. So these are the components of the phloem tissue, that is the tissue that is responsible for the translocation or for the transportation of food from the source, that is the leaf where the food is synthesized, to the place where it is needed. So it is needed in many places, in the younger tissue, in the younger organs, and then in the developing tissues of the plants. So there it is sent. Any doubts up until now, students? You
No,
understand what translocation is?
yes.
Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, students, then let's just keep it till here only because the time is up. Also, I have another class. Now, see, the write-up for this, you can note down in the next class. And as far as the understanding of the topic goes, are you people